Hello, and welcome to this online presentation. My name is Jim Krupa, and I'm based in our Houston office. This is just a short presentation introducing you to Exebenus and our application, Exebenus Pulse. I often get asked, how do you say the name of your company? Is it Exebenus, Exebenus, Exebenus? Actually, they're all correct, and there is no wrong way of saying the name. The interesting thing is the Exebenus was actually a precious stone that the ancient Greeks used to use to polish their gold with. And since we thought that data was today's gold, we felt Exebenus was a fitting name for our company. ILT and NPT cost our industry billions annually. And if we break that down, 40 to 50% of those CapEx dollars are associated to drilling and completions related activities. Of those, 70 to 80% of that cost is time-related cost. So naturally, if we can reduce the amount of time that we spend, there's immediate cost savings. Based on a lot of people we've talked to, for an offshore rig, NPT time can range between 15 and 20%. Depending on who you talk to, some say it's higher, some say it's lower, but we felt that was a pretty good gauge of the number. We also see that human error is often the root cause of up to 80% of that NPT, and oftentimes it can be attributed to them not following a procedure. There was a recent article in Drilling Contractor that surveyed 400 different operators where they were asked their staff and employees why they weren't conforming to the operating procedures. And you can see here that an overwhelming majority of them just preferred to rely on their own skills and experience, whereas others were saying that they just weren't accurate and that they were out of date, or they weren't practical. If I followed this procedure as it's written, I couldn't get the job done in the time required. Here's a look at what a typical detailed operating procedure might look like. We spend a significant amount of time preparing these. And as you'll see in the picture there, a driller has on a clipboard a printed out version of it, and they'll go through with a highlighter or pen and check it off as they complete the activities. What typically happens is your drilling engineer or completions engineer will work alongside their service companies and the drilling contractors to create these procedures, and they're usually going to do it in Excel or Microsoft Word or a PDF. And you'll see that there's just a lot of information that's buried, and it's in a bullet point text format. If we dig in a little bit deeper, there's just a lot of information to digest, and there's no common language, so there's just room for misinterpretation. There's no consistency, which can lead to a miscommunication or misunderstanding, and there's just no standard way of doing it. We think there's a better way of doing that. Here's a view at what Exebenus Pulse looks like. This is our build module, and this is where you're going to be creating the procedure. On the left-hand side, you can see a very structured list of all of the activities within that procedure. In the middle is where you've got the actual details and where you're going to enter in the parameters of that information. And the important thing here is that it's quality controlled. It's consistent in the terminology that it uses so that it's not only human readable, but it's also machine readable, which will allow us to move into the automation space as we progress as an industry. On the right-hand side, you can see that we have what we call insights, risks and best practices, or checks and lessons learned, but they're in context with the information that the person using this procedure can use. You'll also notice that you can put in planned time. One of the unique advantages with Exebenus Pulse is that once we have that procedure, we can then merge it with real-time WITSML data. And this will allow us to warn when we're deviating from that plan. In this view, we're looking at the Exebenus Pulse Run module. And the procedure is getting a real-time WITSML data feed coming in. And you'll notice that there's very clear and easy to see green check marks and yellow exclamation marks. So the increasing the flow rate here is meeting those boundaries, or the keeping the flow rate steady was outside the boundary. So this particular one was for 60 minutes, and I believe this was only held for 50 minutes. So we put an alert there. The same with the flow rate value. So it's very easy to be able to get this information in and benchmark it and compare it later on. You'll notice that we've got a planned time of 2 hours with an actual time of 2 hours and 10 minutes. So you can start to get down to a very granular level at a procedure level to track your operations. And this gives the operator just tremendous visibility into what's actually happening at the rig. So in addition to the automatic tracking, we also have obviously manual tracking of the procedures. There are many procedures that just don't get real-time data, and so that could be assembling a BHA or a pre-job safety meeting, things along those lines. This is what we call the data log, and this is where you get a more detailed view as to what actually happened and how long those procedures actually took. So you've got your planned time, and then you've got your actual time and the duration. So we can export this and put it into Power BI or Tableau or Spotfire or any other kind of reporting package software to start doing benchmarks and other analysis. So we want to join you on the digitalization journey and automation journey. We see that the industry is still very much in this Word and PDF cycle. We need to get the industry to bridge that gap into the digital procedure so that we can ultimately get to the column 5, which is the automated rig. Let us help you with your journey in your digitalization and automation journey. Just know that you don't have to accept 20% NPT. There are solutions out there that can help you gauge and benchmark and improve in those areas, and we'd love to help you do that. Thanks again for your time today. You can also follow us on LinkedIn and check out our YouTube channel. Thanks and have a great day.